Castlevania on Netflix. A show that I started watching like when it actually first premiered, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, but didn't finish it. I don't know why. I guess I wasn't that much of a show watcher back then, because I remember liking the first 2 episodes, but I just never bothered watching the rest. But I did recently, because I hear it's really good, and I must say it is really good. And the 4th season is actually coming very soon. So I thought, you know, these seasons have been out for quite a bit, so, I mean, there's not much of a point in reviewing them, but why not do something similar and rank all the seasons from worst to best? So that's what I'm going to do. First of all, though, I just want to say, you know, give my thoughts on the series as a whole right now. I think this series is actually really good. It is definitely, you know, a good video game adaptation, maybe one of the best ever, like, possibly the best video game adaptation ever, movies and shows. Very entertaining, and it is really the story of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. So, like, Simon Belmont isn't in this, it's Trevor Belmont. Also, it is animated, but if you are a parent and you may be thinking of showing this to your little 7-year-old kid, don't. This is very violent, gory, very profane. Anyways, let's get into this. But before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the notifications, and leave a comment, and you'll be a loyal subscriber. I think Season 1 is the worst season. Not saying it is bad because, well, goddamn, it's awesome. The only reason it's the lowest on the list is just because it's only 4 episodes long. You don't really have much time to get invested into too much. However, there is still quite a lot I like about this season. The first episode is probably one of the best of the series, as you see Dracula and why he's going crazy. You see why he wants to wipe out humanity, as the one human who kept him tied to his humanity, that being his wife, gets burned at the stake by the church. From the first episode, it looked like this was gonna be, you know, sort of Dracula's show, but the rest of the season is more focused on Trevor Belmont. I like what this show does with the story and the characters, by the way. The Castlevania games, you see the story as you get to play through it, and you see text that tells you in the 3rd game that the Belmonts were hated, but you don't quite see that because it's an NES game, and there's not much depth to them. In here, though, you get that, as this is a show where there is an actual script and everything. Before this, we didn't know that Trevor Belmont was a snarky drunk, but we do now, and it seems fitting. All the fights are also hella entertaining. The only reason Season 1 is not higher, though, is, as I said, it's only 4 episodes long. I get that, as I believe Netflix were testing the waters to see if people liked this, and they did, but I don't feel like I had enough time to get invested in characters like Trevor or Sypha. Thankfully, though, there are 2 more seasons where I could get more invested in them.
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
I think you can notice a pattern, so to speak, here. Number 2 is Season 2, I think. Yeah, I'll explain later. But Season 2 takes place just after the end of Season 1, where Trevor and Alucard fight and then become friends, and they, along with Sypha, go on a journey to find and fight Dracula. Meanwhile, we get a good bit of Dracula, and we even get Carmilla from Lords of Shadows, as well as Isaac and Hector from Curse of Darkness. I've never played Curse of Darkness, so I thought these 2 were just brand new characters, but I heard then that these 2 were from that game, and with a quick Google search, I can tell you that they look nothing like how they do in the show as they do in the games. Anyways, just as always, the animation, I didn't mention this before, but the animation is top notch and the action is entertaining as fuck, and I believe I remember hearing a rendition of Bloody Tears in one of the episodes of this season. Also, Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard make for a fucking awesome trio. I like the frenemy interactions between Trevor and Alucard, and it can even be funny. And also, I need to talk about the last 2 episodes. The penultimate episode of Season 2 sees Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard all fighting Dracula in a hella entertaining fight. It turns into Dracula versus Alucard until they crash into Alucard's childhood bedroom, and Dracula is ashamed that he is about to kill his own son and lets Alucard kill him. And he does. It's a sad but satisfying moment, and at the end of the season, in the finale, we see Trevor and Sypha going their separate ways from Alucard. Then Alucard goes to his own childhood room and realizes just how lonely he is. His mother is gone, his father is gone, his 2 friends left, and he starts to cry. It's sad. Honestly, if the final 2 episodes of this season were 1 episode, and I feel like they could have been, it probably could have been, one of my favorite episodes of any show I've ever watched, not just this show. Why isn't it number 1 though? Well, I wasn't too invested in the stuff with the new characters like Carmilla, Isaac, and Hector. By the end of the season, I was intrigued to see where they go, so by the end of the season they become interesting. But at times, they sort of slowed the pacing down for me, personally. Also, it felt weird that the penultimate episode was the climax and the epilogue was the finale. I don't know, it felt like the finale was an epilogue stretched out to be its own episode because they wanted 8 episodes. Regardless though, this was a stellar season.
I'm Luigi, number 1.
You probably figured that Season 3 is number 1, but I said I think earlier, and I'll get into what I mean later. But let's go over what I like about Season 3. Season 2 ended off with Trevor and Sypha going on their own shared journey. Alucard is all alone and upset, Dracula is dead, Isaac was banished into another part of the world, Hector is imprisoned, and Carmilla is the new evil vampire with her own empire. I like that. Vampire Empire. The thing I was most interested about going into this season was Alucard, and we see he has kind of been going crazy. So much so that he made dolls of Trevor and Sypha and talks to them, and he doesn't even know how long it's been since he's been alone. We also get introduced to Carmilla's sisters, who are original characters in this show. Striga, Marana, and Lenore. Interestingly enough, the weakest points of the 2 seasons, being the stuff with Carmilla, Hector, and Isaac, respectively, are probably the strongest points of Season 3. Hector is being held captive in Carmilla's castle, and we see Lenore seemingly trying to befriend Hector, and even, getting some action with him, but we eventually see that she's just playing him. I thought this stuff was actually very interesting and compelling. I also was invested in the stuff with Isaac as he tries to make his way back to the castle and has an army of night creatures. Then there is the stuff with Trevor and Sypha. It's kind of weird to say this, but they were kind of pushed to the sidelines in this season. This season didn't really feel like it followed them that much. Hell, in the first episode of this 3rd season, we don't really see that much of them until towards the end. They travel to this one village named Lindenfeld and are there for pretty much the whole season, and they meet Saint Germain from Castlevania Curse of Darkness. He's sort of a magician, philosopher, scholar guy. Yeah. There is also the judge, who is voiced by Jason Isaacs, who voiced Zhao in Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's what I know him from. So he can do some damn good voices, and he does that with the judge. The reveal at the end of the season with the judge turning out to be a murderer by setting death traps for kids was quite crazy and shows, you know what, maybe Dracula was right. Fuck humans. Furthermore, Alucard meets these 2 Japanese vampire hunters, Taka and Sumi, who he grows a bit of a bond with as he's lonely, but since he's a vampire, he won't tell them anything. So therefore, Taka and Sumi get some action with Alucard in the bed, leading to some, Rule 34, But then they try to kill him. That stuff didn't make much sense to me, though, as he was being really good to them, and now they tried killing him because he just won't tell them things. But it's not like he's lying to them, it's just whatever. It also felt like Alucard was also pushed to the sidelines a bit, kind of like Trevor and Sypha. I don't know, but this felt like a side plot with Alucard and the Hunters. I still really like this season, and I think it might be my favorite season. I don't know if it's season 2 or 3, though. Season 3 was longer and had more, and it didn't have a weird penultimate episode and finale, but season 2 had less questionable stuff. It didn't push Alucard, Trevor, or Sypha to the sidelines. As of now, I guess season 3 is number 1 for me, for one big reason. The finale seems to set the stage for the rest of the series. What I mean is, with the events of this show right now, the finale seems to be like a turning point, and I am super interested to see where it goes next. So that's my ranking of all 3 seasons of the Castlevania Netflix show. You agree with me? Have you even watched this show? And if you haven't, you're wrong. Watch it. And of course, season 4 will be coming out soon, and I'll have a review for that when that comes out. Anyways, be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.